wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! I'm back!
Miss me?
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
And welcome back, folks, to another edition of WrestleRant Radio right here on EC Radio. I am your host, Bleacher Report featured columnist Graham Giusta Matthews, sitting alongside RJ. How are you doing today, RJ?
Good, how you doing, Graham?
Doing good. A lot to talk about here today. NXT TakeOver, Monday Night Raw, and of course this Sunday, I'm getting it right this time, WWE Night of Champions. We're giving our predictions for the show. It's a blockbuster show today, but just one thing before we get started, RJ. One question. Did you know the WWE Network was $9.99?
Yes, I did.
That commercial that aired last night, I thought was very well done.
Yep.
The advertisement for it on Raw is atrocious sometimes.
Yep.
In fact, they shove it down our throats. I love the network, but they try to turn a heel on us.
Yep. Yeah, like you said, it's atrocious, but like they're a company, they gotta make their money. Obviously, marketing throughout the company has always been great. So the commercial is very catchy too. So
It is, exactly.
Exactly.
I look at the video. I played the video off of WWE's YouTube channel. It has like 800 likes, like 900 dislikes. And some people are just so sick of all the network plugging. And it's understandable, but the commercial itself, which aired twice last night during Raw, I thought was very catchy.
Yep.
And the network itself is amazing. I mean, we drive that home every single week. But nevertheless, this Sunday, Night of Champions will be on the WWE Network, streaming for free. Also on the WWE Network last Thursday. Better than anything we've seen on Raw in weeks, months even. I thought it was tremendous. We had the NXT Championship matchup, Fatal 4-Way, easily, in my personal opinion, one of the best matches of the year. Adrian Neville defending the title against Tyler Breeze, Tyson Kidd, and Sami Zayn in a match for the ages. I thought that was fantastic. We had Bull Dempsey versus Bull versus Mojo Rawley in a quick squash, too.
Yep.
And all these other matches. So I'll break it down right now, giving a review of the show. Kicking off the show was the tag team titles on the line, with the Ascension defending against the Lucha Dragons, newly named team, of Kalisto and Sin Cara. Now, they knocked off the Ascension after a one-year reign as tag team champions. We've got new title holders for the tag team division in NXT. So what were your thoughts on this matchup?
I thought the match overall was really good. I kind of hate Sin Cara. I feel like even NXT he needs to improve a lot more. He kind of botches a lot of stuff, but Kalisto has a strong future in the WWE. I feel like he could be the next luchador coming out. So, and now that the Ascension lost, I feel like now they can head up to the WWE and fight against the Usos if they keep the titles.
Hopefully. I mean, I heard they had a great series of matches with the Usos in NXT a couple of years ago. I wasn't watching at the time, so I wouldn't know. But the Ascension, they actually did make their debut, which is funny because we were talking about the debuts of like Breeze and Zayn and Neville last week here on the show on Monday Night Raw. And later on that night, or right before we did the show last week, was main event, of course. And the Ascension made their main roster debut in a match against Los Matadores. So it looks like they're going to be main roster bound before long, which is great to see. I'm a huge fan of the Ascension. A lot of their matches are very boring, but most of the time it's because they're squash matches, so I'm not really surprised. But I am looking forward to seeing them feud with the Usos. Hopefully it's high time we finally get them on the main roster. But we also had the debut of Kenta, which we'll get to in a little bit. But they might be feuding with him for just the next couple of weeks, which is fine. But that being said, though, a very good matchup to kick off the show. New tag team champions after a year. Who do you see stepping up to challenge Kalisto and Sin Cara for those tag team titles?
It's going to be a heel team, so...
Any team that was in that tournament that we had a couple of weeks ago.
I'd probably say the Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains, I could definitely see that. Vaudevillains, we talked about this last week, not a heel team. I want to see them take the twin titles at some point. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, I think they're great. What other tag teams are there? There was the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, like you said before.
They had Mojo and Bull Dempsey.
Yeah, and they broke up. Yeah, and Sami Zayn and...
What about the French guys?
French. Oh, Sylvester LeFort and Marcus Louis. By the way, he in real life, Marcus Louis, his last name is your real last name as well. So you share that in common, by the way.
That's awful.
I found out about that last week, and he looked like a freak when he had his head shaved last week. That was comical. But nevertheless, a great matchup to kick off the show. New tag team champions. Up next, we had Baron Corbin making his debut. A familiar name. I knew I recognized the name before, but When he came out, he had no entrance. C.J. Parker, as much as you hate, who's one superstar that you absolutely hate?
That I hate?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what show or.
Oh yeah, like Raw, Smack, or whatever. Like Big Show, you know.
I don't hate Big Show the most.
You know what I mean?
First, I was talking about this with Hef last night. My guy I hate.
It's hard to think of one.
Because I was thinking of sorry, I got this person's super card. Even though they're the best, I'd get rid of them. I'm trying to think who I said.
I don't know.
I'm not clicking right now.
I'm thinking Big Show because that's one superstar that we have a genuine dislike.
I don't
not like
Big
as
Show.
a human, but you know, as like a. I'm just so sick of Big Show. I think is more so.
It's more sick of Big Show.
Yeah.
Probably like Xavier Woods. I kind of hate
Xavier Woods, which is the card that I have my WWE Super card. But what I'm trying to say is that whoever your least favorite superstar is, that's what C.J. Parker is for me. C.J. Parker is much better as a heel, but he's so great as a heel because I just genuinely do not like C.J. Parker. But anyway, he came out, did his entrance, did his whole shtick. The match lasted all of like 10 seconds even. Hit 2 moves. Baron Corbin was a sweet-looking finishing maneuver.
Nice looking finisher.
Knocked him out, picked up the win to nice Baron Corbin chants or whatever. Crowd went crazy. So Baron Corbin, any expectations for him going forward on NXT?
I don't know. There's all other guys I feel like are due for more attention than he is.
That deserve a higher chance. Deserve more of a chance than he does.
KENTA will and Prince Devitt, all them will.
Yeah, and Kevin Steen as well. Yeah. Are you familiar with Kevin Steen? Yeah?
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he's been on NXT, Ring of Honor for a long time, and I just got familiar with. I knew who he was, but I didn't get familiar with his work until up until a couple months ago. And he is awesome.
Yeah, he's good.
So I'm looking forward to when he makes his debut, and I like how they're spacing it out too, because KENTA signed with WWE
a while ago.
Yeah, like back in like July or something. So I like how they're spacing it out, make it mean something, and we'll get to the debut of KENTA in just a little bit, but. I thought that was very good. A good squash match from Baron Corbin and C.J. Parker. Up next, what I thought was the low point of the show, and that's kind of saying something. It's kind of a testament to how great the rest of the show was. It was a hair versus hair match. So Sylvester LeFort taking on Enzo Amore, who was very much enjoyable. I love his work. The matchup itself was really nothing special. It was fine for what it was. Enzo goes over after kind of a mediocre matchup. But instead of delivering on the stipulation, they shaved the head of Marcus Louis instead, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. So the match itself was pretty...
all right. It was the worst match of the night.
Yeah, it was the worst match of the night. I mean, it sounds harsh saying that, but, compared to everything else, it was okay. But, so the match itself was all right, and they didn't even deliver on the stipulation.
I feel like Enzo can't really run as a singles guy. I feel like he really needs Cassidy there to help him.
It's vice versa, I think. Colin Cassidy, when Enzo was out with an injury for like almost 8 or 7 months or something like that, Colin Cassidy, it's not like I didn't like him.
I like Colin Cassidy.
I like Colin Cassidy as well, but I just didn't see him as rising above a certain level as a singles guy. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the look. I've seen some people compare him to like Edge or something like that. But
he's bigger than Edge.
Oh no, I mean in terms of look. I'm sorry, not build, but I just don't see him surviving on his own as well. I think Enzo brings like the mic skills and whatever, and Colin brings the in-ring skills, or the mic skills for Enzo. But either way, I think it's a great package deal, which will flourish on the main roster, and hopefully they don't make him into the next Santino comedy duo like they have with obviously Morello these last 7-8 years. But nevertheless, the low point of the show, Enzo and Sylvester LeFort, but like I said before, kind of more of a testament to how great the rest of the show was. But up next, though, we had another great segment. We already kind of touched upon this a little bit. The debut of KENTA being introduced into the WWE Universe by William Regal, the new NXT general manager, basically hyping up KENTA's accomplishments, all that kind of stuff. Introducing him by his new name, Hideo Itami? I think it's
Hideo Itami.
Hideo Itami? I know it's Itami. I think it's Hideo, right?
I have no idea.
I think it's Hideo. I think it's Hideo. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, something like that. But new name for Hideo. I know I'm not that much of a big indie guy, so I wasn't like enraged by the name change. But do you really have any thoughts on that?
I have no difference.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Kento is easier to chant. I mean, he's more well known by that. But I'm not really surprised that they changed their name, and here's why. That they changed his name, and here's why. WWE likes to take creative control of everything. Like, there's a lot of CM Punk is a very rare case in which they let him keep his name from the indies. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of anyone else. Even Bryan Danielson, a.k.a. Daniel Bryan, had to switch it around, but they own the name of Daniel Bryan. So I'm not really surprised. But the new name, I guess he said, is like an homage to someone that came before him, a legend in Japan. So it makes sense. It's not like something dumb, like something out of a name. Like Michael McGillicuddy, exactly. It can't get any worse than that. So it could have been much worse, and it's fine for what it is. I really don't have much of a problem with it. But that was that. Out comes the Ascension to interrupt William Regal, saying, "We demand our tag team title rematch right here, right now. Give it to us." Kenta takes them both out, so a strong debut for Hideo Itami on NXT. So, any expectations for Kenta going forward, or Hideo Itami, I'm sorry?
I don't see him doing anything too soon, but eventually I feel like he'll be in the title picture.
Eventually, yeah. I think him versus Adrian Neville, who I've not seen the matches, but I've heard their matches and on the indies in the past have been amazing. And Adrian Neville's a great athlete, but in NXT I think he's also great as well. And we'll get to Adrian Neville and the NXT title and all that kind of stuff later too. But I think Adrian Neville versus Kenta at some point, before they bring Adrian Neville up to the main roster, which I think is only a matter of time, regardless of whether he might flourish or not. I mean, that's debatable. We've talked about that here before. But I do think they could have a great series of matches, and as close enough to a money matchup as you can get in NXT, technically, because you're already paying $9.99 for the network. But yeah, very strong debut for Kenta. I thought that was tremendous. Great stuff there. Also up next, I think we had a quick squash match. Yeah, we did Bull Dempsey versus Mojo Rawley.
I called that one.
Literally 1 minute match of Bull Dempsey destroys Mojo Rawley. And they've already done this in the past. I think we talked about this last week, but Mojo Rawley, who they were trying to protect for a long time, giving him like the Ultimate Warrior squashes, like 1 minute, get him hyped up, doing the whole Ultimate Warrior shtick. But the difference between the Warrior and Mojo Rawley is that was 30 years ago. It's really hard to get someone over in that fashion in 2014. The fans obviously do not appreciate Mojo. Right now, they were much more towards Bull than they were Mojo Rawley. But I do like the approach they took with this, and that they made it a 1 minute matchup. It shouldn't have been any longer. The matchup was going to bomb anyway. So I think the fact they had Bull Dempsey go over as strongly as he did was a testament to how strongly they went to push him. Yep. So I thought that was great. So any thoughts on this matchup? No? Yeah, I thought it was, like I said, it was acceptable for what it is. And like I said, it's probably better than having a traditional matchup between the two. So Bull Dempsey, I'm not in love with his character or anything like that. But it is a throwback to the good old days, of when they were the big guys, or I can't remember.
It's like Taz kind of.
Taz, exactly. I think we talked about that last week. I forgot the word that he used. It was throwback to something, to a guy from the 80s or 90s, like an old-fashioned big guy that can destroy anything in his path. But I think he does have potential. Give him a series of matches with Adrian Neville over the NXT title. I think those could be a great series of matches. More so like with the Brodus Clay feud that we got a couple of months ago before Clay was randomly released from his contract. Or not really randomly.
But just...
Yeah, it wasn't really surprising. But kind of like that kind of feud. Just don't have him wasted within an 8-minute matchup like a no DQ rule, which they did with Clay, which was a complete waste of time. But they could build up a nice feud, though, so I'm looking forward to that. So good stuff there from Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley. Up next, which I thought was another great matchup, continuing the streak of strong women's wrestling matches at these live NXT specials. Charlotte taking on Bayley for the NXT women's title. These two, unlike some of the past matches that we've got, Paige and Emma had some history, and Charlotte and Natalya really didn't have much at all aside from the whole family lineage thing. These two, how long have you been watching NXT?
Me?
Yeah.
Since it pretty much started.
Since it pretty much started 2 years ago? Or NXT, the original show?
The original show.
The original show. So you've been watching it at Full Sail too? Yeah, so obviously then you would know. And then the Charlotte and Bayley friendship that they had. They even recapped it in the video package, which I thought was great too, with Bayley crying and stuff. Great stuff from the production team. But they recapped the feud nicely. They did a very good job of that. And so we get to the matchup. Another great matchup from Charlotte and Bayley. And I'm not even a big Charlotte fan. I think she's come a long way in a very quick period of time as champion. There were some botches, and you pointed it out to me while watching the show, and I definitely saw that. But it still was a very good matchup, though. Much better than anything we see in the main roster nowadays, which is odd considering we have a feud between Paige and AJ, two of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and they're not even using them to their full potential. But that's another rant for another day. But a very good matchup here. Charlotte, surprisingly, going over clean to retain her NXT Women's title. After the matchup, out comes Sasha Banks to attack Bayley. Charlotte saves her. So kind of a pseudo face turn. It's not really official. Maybe teasing it, or a three-way feud for the title. Hasn't really been confirmed yet. It's only been 1 week. So that being said, what were your thoughts on the matchup, and what do you see as the future for the NXT Women's title picture?
I thought the match overall was really good, besides the couple botches they had.
Yeah.
Even though Bayley lost, they made her look strong. She kicked out of I'm pretty sure she kicked out of a finisher.
Out of the moonsault, I think it was.
Kicked out of the moonsault, which is very botched.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
The moonsault was so bad. Didn't even come close to touching
It could have been worse.
No.
I'll give them that. She did the moonsault, and then she didn't make contact. She just, obviously they always hit the mat anyway, but it was just the fact, the way that she executed,
and the way the camera was angled, that was so bad, but whatever.
It did not come off well. But
besides that, I like Bayley a lot, and she's getting better, but I don't know. I like Bayley a lot more. I like Sasha Banks better too. So
they're all very talented. I think. I think Charlotte just needs some more time before she gets up to the main roster, and I think they're very determined on putting Ric Flair with his daughter, and I think he's currently hospitalized, so I don't know when he's going to be back, but I'm not going to say it's for the better, but I think it's better
that she stays down in NXT longer.
Exactly. I don't think she's ready right now. Bayley and Sasha, I don't even think are ready right now, but they will be very, very soon. I think Bayley can get over big with the PG audience, but this is a great matchup as well. Hopefully they can continue the title chase with Bayley. That's the best part about this too, because I know. Did you predict a Bayley win last week?
No, I think I said Charlotte.
Charlotte as well, yeah. I think Charlotte. I predicted Charlotte. And I thought she should have gone over here, and a lot of people were disappointed, which is understandable. But I liked it because it keeps Bayley going after the title like a Daniel Bryan kind of thing, and it's different with the Divas. And I told you that last week, but I think if you keep her in chase mode, it will make that title win when it eventually comes, whether it be on an episode of NXT or at the next live special in January or whenever it is. It's going to mean more. It's going to be a great moment, so I look forward to that. She's got a new theme. We got the new entrance. She's got new everything. So everyone thought that she was winning the title on that show. It was not to be, but she will win the title at some point. And the longer the reign for Charlotte, the better. She's only held the title for, 3 or 4 months, so it wasn't long enough. But very good matchup from one of the women there, continuing the strong streak of great women's matches on these NXT specials. And, of course, we get to the main event. Fatal 4-way matchup for the NXT title. Match of the Year contender written all over it. Adrian Neville defending against Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Tyson Kidd. It started out a little slow, which I'm actually kind of glad it did.
Really slow.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, is it not going to live up to expectations? But they quickly built the pace a little bit over the course of the contest. When you get to the finishing sequence, the last 5 minutes or so, I thought were fantastic. Yeah. A lot of crazy, over-the-top maneuvers. Everyone's just doing this and that every 2 seconds. It's crazy. I can't even put it in words how amazing these final few minutes of the finishing sequence of this matchup was. But great stuff there from start to finish. In the end, Sami Zayn hits his finisher, gets Tyler Breeze for the 1-2-3, or gets him for the 1-2. Before he can get the 3, the camera angle, and I was still suspense anyway, regardless of how this was. But camera angles in wrestling, you can always tell when someone's going to pull the referee out because the camera's in a certain place in the ring, right next to the turnbuckle, and where you can see someone pull the leg of the referee right out of the ring. So that kind of ruined it a little bit, not so much, or hardly at all. But anyway, Adrian Neville pulls the referee out of the ring, shoots him a quick look, hits the 450, or not the 450, I'm sorry, the red arrow, gets the 1-2-3, still the NXT
hit
champion.
Sami Zayn first.
Oh, he did on the outside.
Yeah,
right?
he went to go get him and he kicked. Yeah,
that was a great move. So he knocks out Sami Zayn, gets the 1-2-3 after a red arrow, still the NXT champion. So RJ, your thoughts on the matchup, the outcome? Were you disappointed? Because I think I said Sami Zayn and you said Breeze, right?
I said Breeze, yeah.
Yeah. So we were both wrong there.
Yep.
But your thoughts on the matchup, the outcome, and where the NXT title picture goes from here?
I thought the match was really good. Like you said, started off wicked slow at first, but then the last 5 minutes was ridiculous. Everyone was hitting all these ridiculous moves. The suspense was really there. There was a couple times I thought Tyler Breeze was going to win. A couple times he hit a finish out of nowhere, then throw someone out of the ring. But throughout the match, I really started to like Sami Zayn a lot more. I don't know, something about him. He's just very entertaining.
So crazy.
When he did that, through the turnbuckle DDT, I went nuts.
You saw Arrival, obviously, right?
Yes.
That he did that to Cesaro back, and they said that on commentary too. That was crazy.
Ridiculous.
He is so impressive in the ring. I love it.
And then I was kind of pissed when Adrian Neville won. I was like,
a little bit too.
I kind of got mad. I was like, I kind of hate him now.
Yeah. The crowd had that kind of vibe too. They didn't explode in excitement. Wow, what a great match.
They were more pissed that Adrian Neville won.
Oh, damn it! Sami Zayn didn't win, and Sami Zayn, an absolute, I don't know, Oscar or whatever the award is. I don't even know. An Emmy, whatever. Exactly, a Slammy Award for best reaction ever after that match. You just see him sitting there for a solid 2 or 3 minutes with that facial expression on his face, and given how disappointed he was that he did not come away with the NXT title, it was fantastic. But yeah, you said you were kind of pissed at Adrian Neville after the match.
I think everyone else was too. They were just kind of a heelish way to win.
Exactly.
Too. So everyone was like, fuck him.
Exactly. So the thing is that even before the matchup, they showed, and what I really liked about this matchup was that not only the build-up in the last couple of months, which we both said was fantastic last week, but going into the matchup on this show, they aired video package for all 4 guys, claiming the interviews and stuff, claiming why they will walk away with the NXT title. And when it came time for Adrian Neville's interview, and I thought it was a bit weird, they were kind of already teasing the heel turn even before all of this went down, and he was saying that people think I'm too cocky, I'm too confident, people don't
he's
think...
beaten all of them already.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of had that heelish vibe to his interview, and this, to me, and it's not official yet, it kind of solidified that they are planting the seeds for a heel turn for Adrian Neville. And it's going to be kind of the same thing in my mind anyway, what they did with Tyson Kidd a couple of months ago, in which he loses to the babyface challenger. He challenges for it again, loses again, kind of gets a little frustrated. But this time, he's in the champion role. It's the champion that's going to be turning heel, in that it's going to be Adrian Neville, which I think is great. I don't know how well it's going to go over, maybe in NXT, because like you said, people are pissed and they want Sami Zayn to be champion by this point. On the main roster, he's going to be a babyface. I don't know if he's going to be pulling a Big E kind of thing, where he's a babyface or a heel in NXT and a babyface in the main roster, because Big E did that for a while in early 2013. But because his offense screams babyface, but if you can kick it up a notch in terms of heelish actions and stuff like that, and even if they don't opt him to turn him heel, I'm completely fine with that. But the only thing I would have a problem with is turning Sami Zayn heel.
They wouldn't. I don't think they'd do that.
I think he's just so over right now, much more than Adrian Neville, at the point where I don't think they can turn him. It's like a Daniel Bryan kind of thing, where they tried to turn Daniel Bryan with the whole Wyatt family thing, and it didn't work out, and they had to go back on it. So, speaking of Daniel Bryan, he had the best comeback in WWE for quite a long time, in terms of his offense and stuff like that. Hottest comeback in the WWE. I think Sami Zayn is taking that from him very quickly. I think on this show, if you go back and watch him, when he's doing his moves, the Kazuko kick or whatever he calls it, when he hits that in the corner, crowd goes crazy. They're ready to see a new champion crowned. Sami Zayn on the mic, in the ring, his whole character I think is great. Adrian Neville, the only difference between Neville and Zayn is that Neville, I don't think, and we'll talk about this right now, we might as well, and we've talked about this before, but we might as well get in detail about it. I don't think that Neville can get beyond a certain level on the main roster. I mean, he's a very talented wrestler, as Pac, as Adrian Neville, whatever. And he can talk. He's not a bad talker.
It's his accent.
It's his accent that really holds him back from being much, much more. So I think that's the only thing that's going to hold him back on the main roster. And I made this comparison when someone asked me a couple days ago, and that he might be the next Evan Bourne. And I don't know. I mean, he's much more of a spectacle to watch in the ring than Evan Bourne, but in that he can't really talk. And he's a better talker because he's improved over time. His promos a year ago were atrocious, but he's gotten better. Maybe you put a mouthpiece with him or something. I'm not exactly sure.
I just see him as more as a tag team star.
Yeah.
If he ever made it, when he makes it to the roster, I just don't see him as Intercontinental Champion or U.S. Champion at that.
Yeah, like the Dynamite Kid. Someone made that comparison as well. I think he could be a brilliant tag team star.
Yeah.
If given the ball too. His size, I think, and kind of his look. And I know it sounds dumb, saying that from a Daniel Bryan fan or something like that, because Daniel Bryan, who would have thought he would have ever had the look of a world champion or the size, because he's on the relatively small side too. But Adrian Neville's even smaller than he is. That guy's like a dwarf. You know what I mean?
He looks like one.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. So I can't really I don't know. I would love to see them prove me wrong.
I feel
Adrian
like
Neville.
Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze have a better chance than he does.
Yes, I think Tyler Breeze, if you evolve and tweak the character a little bit, I think he can succeed in the main roster. Adrian Neville will be too, but I just don't think he'll get beyond a certain level. Sami Zayn, I think, can. But that being said, though, I love the outcome of this matchup in that it keeps Zayn in chase mode. If you have him lose one more time, that might be pushing it a little bit. And that,
Who's Sami Zayn?
Yeah. I think you need to have him win the next special.
What would you think if they didn't even give him the title and he just went to the main roster and won a title?
I'd be disappointed. I wouldn't be pissed. I don't know. I think. Oh wait, went to the main roster and won a title.
Think if Cesaro wins it, comes Survivor Series time, Zayn comes and beats him at Survivor
That's what
Series.
I was thinking. I think we talked about this on the show before, and that I think
just
Zayn,
never won the NXT Championship. Would you have a problem with that?
Not really a big problem. That's a good question. I wouldn't have a huge problem with it. But I think they built it up for so long that I think he needs to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To complete the story. And I think I see him. Someone asked me when I expect to see Sami Zayn on the main roster. I expect him to be on the main roster personally around WrestleMania 31 time, like right afterwards, like Rusev came up this year, Paige, Adam Rose, Bo Dallas.
Emma.
I see Emma. Well, she came up a little beforehand, but around that time, exactly. I see Sami Zayn coming up around that time, right after WrestleMania, because I think right now he'll just get lost in the shuffle, especially with the product being as bad as it is. You could do that, have him debut, win the IC or US title, as you said, if Cesaro wins it. That could be great. I just don't know how well he will be booked going into WrestleMania season, He'll just be ending up on another dark match on the show or something, or another Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which I don't think he deserves, But if he wins it, like Cesaro, you never know.
I don't know. I feel like you brought Sami Zayn up, he could have tons of good matches.
I believe so, with like Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. There's so many guys. Exactly, because they're all the best wrestlers on the roster. Exactly, but I think Sami Zayn has a future in the main roster, but as long as they don't turn him heel and have that great matchup that we've all been waiting for between Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn over the NXT title and culminate the story with Sami Zayn winning that belt, regardless of whether Neville is heel or not, I think it's going to be perfect. It's going to get a great reaction from the Full Sail crowd. So that closed off NXT TakeOver. What were your thoughts on the show as a whole, and where would you rank it against the last two NXT specials?
I thought the show all around was pretty good. None of the matches really were that bad, and I think it was probably the best special they had so far. Really?
A lot of people, and I agree with the general consensus here, in that I thought it was the worst of the three so far. And it sounds worse than it is, because the last two were just so great. And I think the last two, as a whole, were better than this one. I think this one had its moments. Like Charlotte and Natalya had a great matchup. Like the card for TakeOver 1, as a whole, I thought was better. I
feel like I just don't remember the first one.
I'll
look it up right now.
Yeah, I know we had Paige and Emma. We had a few squash matches. We had
Ascension fought.
Grandmaster Sexy. No, that was TakeOver 1.
What?
Arrival was Grandmaster Sexy and Scotty Too Hotty. Yeah,
it sucked.
Yeah, so that was
Arrival. They fought Kalisto and El Local.
Yeah, that wasn't a good match, yeah. But everything else in that show I thought was great, though. But like I said, the fact that we're even debating this is a testament to how
Bayley
awesome
versus Sasha Banks, that was a dark match.
Yeah,
Adam versus Camacho, that match sucked. Ascension versus, that match sucked. Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn was good. Natalya and Charlotte were good, and then Adrian Neville and Tyson Kidd. I think
that had a better, well-rounded card. I think this show, it had a few good squash matches. We got the debut of KENTA, of Baron Corbin. But even so, though, regardless of what you thought of the show, I thought it was very enjoyable. Where it ranks up against the last two.
I don't know. Looking at the other ones, I feel like this one was way better. Like Cesaro vs. Sami Zayn, that's good. Mojo Rawley vs. C.J. Parker, not good. Ascension vs. Too Cool, not good. Paige and Emma, Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods in a no contest, and then Adrian Neville versus Bo Dallas.
I think TakeOver 1 was better than TakeOver 2, but you can put it on par with Arrival, though. I mean, given all the squash matches and stuff, I think the filler matches on this show, with the exception of Enzo and Sylvester, I think were very good. They were only like 30 seconds long if you combine the two matches, but they were both very notable. One introduced a new guy, and the other one put another guy over like tremendously, and Bull Dempsey. And then we also got the debut of KENTA, which I also thought was very well handled too. But great show overall. Yep. I look forward to the next NXT special. Has not been announced yet, obviously. When it will be, any speculation?
Probably like November, December, probably.
No, yeah. Probably. If I had to take a guess, probably December. I don't know if they would do it right before Christmas or
maybe Christmas.
They could be.
When's Christmas? I think it's Sunday this year. So maybe Thursday before Christmas? I don't know.
Christmas, I think, is on a Thursday this year.
Is it?
Maybe on a week before. Yeah. So they could do it on the Thursday before, because I know they have
Christmas
TLC
special.
Too. What?
Christmas special.
Christmas special, exactly. They had NXT on Christmas last year too, which I thought was pretty cool. They had a great matchup between Cesaro and Regal last year on Christmas, but that was it though on that show. But anyway though, either December or January, whatever it is, I think it's great. And do you agree with the sentiment? Maybe this is just me, in that I like the fact that they keep these specials a couple of months apart, and that we got them every month, they wouldn't be special.
Exactly.
So I like the fact that they're spaced out that way, and I look forward to the next one. So that was NXT TakeOver. Going into Monday Night Raw, we're not going to dissect everything from the show because there really wasn't much to dissect, but we'll get to the biggest talking point from the show, John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the return of the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, to the flagship show. John Cena gave Paul Heyman an ultimatum at the start of the show saying, if you don't bring Brock Lesnar to the arena by halftime, you're going to get some. So your thoughts on the approach first, on the way that was handled, and Cena kind of quote-unquote bullying Paul Heyman, and also the approach of the whole halftime thing.
I feel like the bullying thing, it's just like, how is he going to, like, get Lesnar to come? So that's, like, the only, like, tactic they can really use for that.
Yeah.
So it's what it is. And then halftime, that's just all ratings. And pretty much, like, they can't really. It's the only time people would actually change over. So. Well,
I think that's fine, but the way that they promote it or said it, I guess, is the way.
Like halftime. They kept saying that. Like halftime.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was half point of the show at one point, and it was 9:30, and we already had another match or something. But they just kept on saying halftime. But in a way, it's also kind of persuading viewers to not tune into the show for the rest of it, and like tune in for Cena and Lesnar, but you don't have to watch the rest of the show. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that was smart by WWE standards, but I thought the segment itself was very good, though.
Yeah.
So, because we also got Brock Lesnar and Cena brawling a little bit, a little preview of their match on Sunday. I was going to be very let down if they didn't make contact at all, because they haven't.
I feel like Cena kind of attacked him like heelish a little bit, too. Like, Lesnar didn't even get in the ring before he even attacked him. Like, Lesnar was coming through the ropes when Cena started
Oh, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and then he threw Cena out, and then Cena kind of like jumped him again.
Yeah, like when he blindsided him, exactly. So I think they're trying to, drive home the point that Cena is desperate to beat Brock Lesnar, and then he's going to go to his lengths, like, become... a heel or something, or whatever Paul Heyman said, obviously not heel, but kind of go to the quote-unquote dark side to beat Brock Lesnar. That's what he's looking for. So, either way, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I mean, I'm interested to see how they...
It won't be a squash again.
They can't be the same exact matchup, but I'm also interested in seeing how they handle it, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But any more thoughts on this segment?
I thought it was all right.
I thought it was well handled, and definitely one of the better points of the show. Because Brock Lesnar... And I don't think we talked about this last week, and being the Brock Lesnar fan, I don't think that you are. I want to get your thoughts on this. I don't think that Brock Lesnar needs to be on every show, and that spacing him out, I think he hasn't been on the show since the night after SummerSlam. Has anyone really noticed?
Not really.
And I'm not saying that as like Lesnar's an afterthought or anything, but I'm saying in the fact that in his absence, they've been having these great video packages.
Yep.
And they've had Cena and Heyman doing all the mic work.
Exactly.
So it makes really no difference that Lesnar is not on the show, or is on the show or is not on the show.
It doesn't really matter.
Less is more.
They just need to just reiterate the fact that he's there.
Exactly.
Like the video packages every week would be fine.
Yeah. I think it really depends on how long he goes without making an appearance. Right now, the last time he was on the show was a month ago, but when he comes back, I have no idea. Like, he works the match at Night of Champions. Is he going to work? I mean, whether he walks out as champion is still in doubt. We're still thinking he will. But, I mean, when he's going to be back.
Curveball at us.
Yeah, exactly. Is he going to work Hell in the Cell? Is he going to work Survivor Series? There was a report recently that came out that said they can use Brock Lesnar. They just have to pay him more for more individual dates. So I could see that happening. They could bring him in for Hell in a Cell to have another rematch with Cena. Not really my forte, but I could see that happening. I don't know what else they could possibly do with Lesnar. Maybe just keep him off TV until the Survivor Series or whatever. Whatever they do, it will be interesting. But nevertheless, I think Brock Lesnar does not need to be on the show every single week for him to make an impact, to have his presence felt, because I think Paul Heyman succeeds in doing that for him. You know what I mean? So good stuff there from John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Other points from the show, we'll talk about this real quickly. Why it was in the main event, I have no idea. Mark Henry rallying the United States against Rusev. So I'm thinking that something's bound to happen. I made the joke on Twitter that Kurt Angle better have returned, and obviously he was not going to. But something had to happen to justify why this was going to be in the main event. It closed out the show. The crowd was, receptive towards Mark Henry getting the better of Rusev, which is something we really don't see all that often. But it really, it's not like it was illogical to me. It was just very odd, especially for a go-home show for the pay-per-view you're trying to promote. Why not just go off the show with Cena and Lesnar? You know what I mean?
Or Reigns or on.
Exactly. I mean, I guess if they wanted to put Cena and Lesnar in the halftime slot, whatever, then they could have easily gone off the show with Reigns and Rollins, who had a very good match, and we'll get to that in a minute. But to have the show go off with Mark Henry and Rusev, maybe, I guess one can argue that it made their match feel more important. But aside from that, did it really build any more excitement for the pay-per-view than you already had before?
No.
Not really.
I feel like lately they've been trying to, get lower matches. Like they had the whole, Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella in Raw a couple times.
Yeah.
Obviously that wasn't good either, but, I don't know, you just gotta stick with what's main event right now. They don't start, screwing up the end of the show. I could care. Once I saw, I'm like, wow, that's weird. Rollins and Reigns ended kind of early. Like,
Exactly.
They usually run over a little bit, like, what's left? And it's like, the rally the crowd. I'm like, you can just shut the TV off. Just mute that, put the football game on. I'm
thinking, is this a house show? Yeah, exactly. Is this a house show or what is this? Because you usually... Mark Henry, I mean, I was a fan of Mark Henry when he was in the Hall of Pain thing, but this is not a main event worthy segment, you know what I mean? So to go off the show, that was a little weird, but the only thing in my mind that justified why this could have been in the main event was to test the waters of a Rusev main event run, happening sooner rather than later. We all know it's going to happen eventually. And a report came out today speculating the same exact thing, and then this is something we've seen reported before in recent months, is that a Rusev versus John Cena feud might be in the works for at some point in the foreseeable future. So, few questions. Do you want to see this happen, and do you think it should happen? I just see it as being like a second coming of Cena Umaga, where he just beats him, ends the undefeated streak in the Umaga, aka Rusev goes nowhere afterwards.
I guess to a point it'd be something for Cena to do, but no way Cena will let him get over. So absolutely no chance.
Exactly. So the feud shouldn't happen at all.
Exactly. It's kind of like what they did with Ryback.
Exactly.
They made him a monster, and then Cena just deflated him.
Yep. And then the undefeated streak ended, and then it was just over. And he was okay for a little bit, but after he turned heel, that was when Cena kind of put the final nail in the coffin. And then he went back to bullying people backstage in like the catering area or something like that. So that's what's going to happen to Rusev if they don't handle this properly. So I also do not think that we should get a feud between Cena and Rusev at any point, whether it be next week, next month, whatever. A Cena versus Rusev feud would not be beneficial for either party. Like you said, the only reason why I could see it happening is if just to give Cena something to do. Because I don't think Rusev... I think that's escalating him a little bit too quickly.
His in the ring is not that good either. Rusev's not good in the ring, I feel like.
I think he needs a great opponent. He can go in the ring, but if he has a solid enough opponent, like him and Big E had a good matchup at or maybe... Was it Money in the Bank? No, I think it was Payback. I don't know which one it was. But they had a very good matchup. Swagger, their matches were kind of boring too. He needs like a good opponent to go with. Maybe like a smaller guy, like a Daniel Bryan, maybe could get a great match out of him. I'm trying to think of any people that he can work with and he can get a good matchup. Like even the Mark Henry Rusev thing goes back to that. Why this goes off the show and the match is probably going to be a dud on Sunday. It makes no sense to me.
It's like a Mark Henry Big Show match when they used to fight.
Exactly.
No one really likes watching two big guys fight, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so boring because they're not...
It's a lazy way
I guess he's somewhat athletic, but Mark Henry's zero athletic.
Exactly.
So kind of like not like Big Show and Mark Henry used to be the most boring matches ever.
Oh, and like
you're just like two guys who used to lean on each other, just like so bad.
That was not good.
I feel like
but a world title nevertheless. Too.
If Cena can't really work well with Bray Wyatt, I don't see him working well with Rusev.
That's a good point. Yeah, because they have very similar builds, and I think Bray Wyatt is miles better in the ring than Rusev, but I just don't see that working at all. I don't think it's too quick, too soon for Rusev.
The only thing that would make sense would be if they did him against Cena. Just another T-shirt Cena can make in the United States. You can't see me shirt
right. With
the wristbands, everything, and he'd be the big American. And besides that, I don't see anything out of that.
I don't see anything good coming out of the feud if they were to do it. Just like I said before, just to give Cena something to do. But aside from that, it's really kind of a waste of time for Rusev. And I will say this: I'm not a Rusev fan, but they've built him up well. I mean, they've had him go through the Jobber Nation to the mid card, to kind of going up there to Mark Henry.
Mid card. I feel like Swagger's really mid card. I feel like he's lower end of mid card.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's working his way up. Is what I'm saying.
Mark Henry's some has been too.
Yeah, I know, but he's more relevant than Jack Swagger is. You know what I mean? He's a former. Jack Swagger is a former world heavyweight champion, but you know what I mean.
You're trying to like throw Swagger down a little bit, like he's the former world champion. Wait, Swagger was too.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw Del Rio in there.
Yeah. Oh no, he didn't face Del Rio though.
I wish.
Yeah.
Former world champion.
You should have squashed him before they booted him out of the building. But yeah, that feud should not happen.
No.
Speaking of feuds that should not happen, we talked about this last week, and it's looking like it's coming true. Bray Wyatt versus The Big Show. Now we said, what's next for Bray Wyatt? We said this months ago before we left campus, as to what's going to be next for Bray Wyatt. Is he going to... I mean, after the whole feud of Cena ran its course, we didn't see Jericho coming in.
No idea.
Exactly. So that happened. That lasted a few months. Now they're looking for something for him to do. They wasted through the Cena feud way too quickly. Before he was a year on into his main roster run, they did that whole thing at WrestleMania. They burned through it. He already feuded with Daniel Bryan, two of the biggest faces in the company. Already feuded with Chris Jericho, on his way out anyway. Roman Reigns is the only guy that makes sense, and both guys need wins right now, so I really don't see what purpose putting these two in a feud right now is between Bray Wyatt and Big Show. Your thoughts?
I just feel like they kind of like screwed Bray Wyatt. He was so hot, and now no one could give two shits anymore.
I think the biggest problem they have with Big Show and Bray Wyatt is exactly it with Cena and Rusev, in that I just can't see Bray Wyatt going over Big Show. When was the last time Big Show ever put someone over clean, like a straightforward, clean feud? You know what I mean? The guy never loses. And I hate the argument that the guy's an attraction in 2014. How many people do you know say, I'm going to a wrestling show today to go see the Big Show?
No one.
I don't care about John Cena, Sheriff, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, The Shield, Dean Ambrose. People are so hot for Dean Ambrose right now. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. How many people do you know say, I want to go see Big Show? Nobody. Exactly.
No one wants to go. Someone wants to go say, let's go see Khali.
Exactly. He's not an attraction in 2014. Maybe even 5 years ago, if that. In 2014, Big Show is hardly ever on. He's in meaningless matches. He serves no purpose
at all.
At least Jericho is putting people over in the feuds and in the matches. Big Show is not doing any of that. It's such a waste of time. And in their match last night, and I really don't put all the blame on either Wyatt or Big Show. They just don't have chemistry. I mean, who does have Big Show chemistry with Big Show
no one.
This day and age? You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone ever did anyway.
Exactly. And the matchup was just so boring. And then this is only 1 week removed from when Bray Wyatt defeated the Big Show. Defeated Chris Jericho in a great steel cage match.
Then he gets DQ'd against the Big Show.
Exactly. And after needing help from Luke Harper and Eric
Rowan. And then they get beat up by Big Show.
After they got... And I think I use this term usually more often than not, but this is applicable to this situation in that they've been buried. They have been absolutely buried. I can't remember the last time they won a match. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan the Wyatt family as a whole is such a great act, but they've wasted it.
Been getting screwed.
Absolutely screwed the last couple of months by the hands of John Cena. Jericho really did all the best he could. I really don't blame him at all. He tried to put over the Wyatt family the best he could. He made the feud as much as he could. But even that was really to no avail up until the steel cage match.
I feel like once he lost to Cena at WrestleMania,
it was really all downhill
pretty
from there.
Was gone. His whole year went down the tubes.
Let's recap.
He beat Daniel Bryan,
in a great match.
Then he beat the Shield at Elimination Chamber. Great match. Loses Cena. Then his steam was dead.
Oof.
Like we knew he was gonna win Extreme Rules in the worst match ever.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that followed that up. Yep.
And then Battleground or Payback got screwed at.
Yep, lost there.
Stupid freaking
the
Cena dumb
production
shit.
set.
Yeah, puss-ass shit.
That was terrible.
That was awful. Yep. And then Money in the Bank. He was just in the championship match. He
Complete
lost.
Afterthought, yep.
He really didn't have any big spots, so I was there. He didn't have too much.
He did it now.
And then Jericho, he lost it at Battleground.
Yep.
Beat him
Not
at
a good
SummerSlam,
matchup, yeah.
And then just won again at Raw.
Yeah.
He's only really won 2 matches that have been somewhat big in the last couple of months.
Some notable relevant matches between Jericho.
And you knew once he lost at Battleground, he was going to beat Jericho at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. And I just don't... like we said last week, I don't really blame it on both, or either Jericho or Wyatt. They tried to make the most of the feud that they could. They just weren't really given the creative reins.
Too busy worrying about Rusev and Mark Henry.
Yeah, exactly. Complete waste of time. So I'm not really happy how they're treating the Wyatt family right now. Some people have been saying, he's going to be nothing more than a nothing guy in a couple of years. I wouldn't say that much. It's only been a few months. We'll have to wait and see where it goes.
We have to see where he goes.
I don't want to jump the gun here.
I'm not going to jump the gun, but he has enough talent to be one of the top guys, just like a Big E did. Big E had the talent to be a top guy, and where's he now? Losing to Seth Rollins in main event.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they just give these guys a little push, and once they get hot, they know eventually they're going to start cooling down eventually. Everyone does. Unless you're Cena.
Exactly.
He never loses, so it doesn't matter. But just give the guy a chance. They just screw him over in the biggest matches that he has. It's just not fair for him.
And in any momentum that they have, in any brief point of momentum that they give him, with the win over Jericho, they've ruined it the next week by having him lose to Big Show.
Buried by John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
I think it was the next show after SummerSlam. The next night, that was the night they got buried.
Oh, it was, yeah. Wait, was it? Yeah, I think it was.
It was the worst Raw ever.
Oh, no, that was 8 days later.
That was 8 days later?
Yeah, it was the next night. I don't think it was even on the show. But yeah, 8 days later, literally the worst Raw of the year. That was an absolute joke of a show. Comical stuff from WWE when it comes to the Wyatt family. But here's hoping they can rectify the track. They can right their wrongs with the Wyatt family going forward. But I think that's going to do it for our quote-unquote Raw review. There's really nothing else on this show that was really need to be talked about. Jack Swagger and Bo Dallas had a matchup.
Awful.
That was pretty much it, yeah. Naomi and Cameron.
I saw that.
the hype
Did you
off
see
of
that
Total
she
Divas.
tapped out before the submission was even
Did
in?
you really?
She tapped out before... I was watching today, someone put on Facebook. She tapped out before she even got the whole submission in.
Oh
like she was still trying to get her leg over her face to like lock in, and she already started tapping out.
Her and Rosa Mendes are so freaking
The thing is, I see Cameron has a future, and she's just like, you can't really blame her because she, like they were saying, Natalia was saying the other night, Total was like, most people have 2 or 3 years. She was there for 3 months, and
you can't really blame it all on her. Exactly.
You can't really blame her. She has a good look.
It's on WWE that they have to bring her back to NXT. I don't really know why in bringing her back to NXT she would have. There's not a chance that she would be brought back. Look at Bray Wyatt. The guy was Husky Harris for God knows how long.
Yeah, but that's different though. He has talent.
True.
He's a shitty gimmick.
That's a good point. Good point.
She's just like a glorified valet at this point.
She is, and
just
she
like
got mad at that
Ray.
one. Yeah, remember when she was going to be said to be a valet for Naomi?
Just like Summer Rae. I don't think Summer Rae's that good either.
Summer Rae is miles better than Cameron, Naomi, or not Naomi.
Naomi.
Naomi's great.
Naomi's really good.
Cameron, Rosa Mendes, and who's the other one?
Hates Rosa Mendes.
Yeah, and Eva Marie. I think the three.
Hates Rosa.
I hate Rosa Mendes. We talked about this before it became popular. I hate on Rosa Mendes. And how few matches she's won in the last 6 years. And they said that. Oh my God, it was so freaking comical. I almost peed my pants listening to this. They had the cast of Total Divas. It wasn't really the cast. It was Brie Bella, Eva, and Cameron. 2 of the worst wrestlers in WWE today, on with Brie Bella. On Talk is Jericho, Chris Jericho's podcast. And they talked about Rosa Mendes joining the show. And Cameron goes, hey, did you know that she hasn't won a match in 6 years? And Jericho's like, yeah, I heard about that. And they were talking about it for like a solid minute.
Funny.
It was so funny. But, yeah, Rosa Mendes is terrible, bottom line. But even still, though, that is Total Divas talk for today. From there, we'll get into our Night of Champions prediction for this Sunday. We talked about this before the show went live. I think it has the potential to be a good show, a very good show, but it's on WWE to deliver. Like last year, I said the same exact thing, but it was not a good show.
What I don't get is why NXT always has good shows and WWE always has these lackluster shows. It's the same company. It's lesser talented guys on NXT. You have the
with
better
less experience.
Exactly, and then these guys come out there and have like dud matches, and like I don't understand that. I don't know. I just want to say that I don't get that at all.
Are we talking pay-per-views or overall?
Pay-per-views.
Raw and SmackDown and NXT, like the shows
even
too.
NXT usually has better matches than Raw does.
It does, yeah.
It just like I don't understand. It's the same company, same people are running it. Like I just don't understand why.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. Because I remember TakeOver 1, everyone was so excited. Then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna try full out for Payback." Like,
yeah, we'll try to outshine.
Exactly.
Like, their own competition is themselves.
Their own
NXT
competition is NXT,
better.
which is the developmental league, which is terrible.
Yeah, development. The fact that developmental is outshining the main roster shows how pathetic the main roster, whatever state it is in at the moment.
Just creative's just not there right now.
It's so comical because I don't know where I read this, but I guess. How many monkeys do we have on the creative team on the main roster? We have like freaking 30 people writing the shows.
No, there's not that many.
Not 30.
I've seen a script. There's not too many people.
No, but you know what I mean, though. They have like a handful of people writing Raw and SmackDown.
The thing is, I feel like they have too many yes and no people.
They do,
I feel like Vince and Triple H don't see eye to eye.
They do not at all. Vince is so out of touch with the product. And say what you will about Triple H, but he knows what's best for like. No pun intended, but he knows. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Then they just have other just like aides and stuff like that are there, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Vince McMahon just needs to just step down.
He
Give
won't.
it to Shane.
Yeah, he won't.
Give it to Shane.
But the thing is, I think that, with so many soap opera, I think that's the thing. The soap opera writers are writing Raw and SmackDown, or mostly Raw, because SmackDown's irrelevant nowadays.
Yeah.
NXT is being written by 2 people, I heard. 2 freaking people are writing these shows every single week.
Yeah, because NXT's not more of a soap opera; it's more of a wrestling show.
Yeah, exactly. It's only an hour, so it's hard to compare and put them on the same level. Raw's 3 hours. It's a lot different.
Yeah, but you could take the best hour of Raw, and it'll still probably be the best hours of NXT.
Exactly. There's no stupid
segments.
Comedy.
There's no segments.
There's
exactly.
no sports entertainment on NXT. It is a wrestling show
exactly.
from start to finish. NXT TakeOver 2, Fatal 4-Way. Okay, the LeFort stuff was kind of dumb. I mean, that was
it had to get
sports
some
entertainment.
comedy in there.
But whatever sports entertainment, quote unquote, that they have is entertaining. Like LeFort is legitimately entertaining. Or not LeFort. I'm sorry. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. They are really, really funny. But for the most part, is a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And the fact is, if you're an NXT talent, do you want to go to the main roster? Do you want to become an Emma, like where she's having great matches with Paige at Arrival? The next month, she's on the main roster. What is she wrestling on Superstars and
I
something?
think so. I haven't seen her wrestle in so long.
She hasn't wrestled in forever. So that's the thing. Do you want it? Yeah, exactly. I mean, going to the main roster, you get paid more and stuff like that. But is it really worth it? You get more in-ring time, you get more promo time in NXT. I don't get it. I absolutely agree. NXT is absolutely outshining the main roster right now. It's ridiculous how badly, we have TakeOver 2 a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, and that's so much better. It's going to look bad if Night of Champions doesn't match that excitement. Payback was an exception because it was a good show, so that was what it was. But if Night of Champions doesn't deliver, it will solidify the fact that NXT is the better brand. And that's what Triple H is calling it now anyways. From there, we'll get into the Night of Champions predictions. Well, not really a prediction, but the kickoff show, which they announced, I'm very glad they don't have Adam Rose and the Bunny versus frickin' Titus O'Neil and Slater Gator or whatever. I'm glad that was not announced at the pre-show, or Jack Swagger and Bo Dallas. But we have Christian returning to host the Peep Show with Chris Jericho. Even though Jericho is already in a match on the show, we're having Jericho in this Peep Show segment with Christian to kick off the kickoff show, whatever. What do you think the purpose of this serves? What is it?
Maybe just to hype up him and Orton. Because Orton and Christian have had their feuds in the past. So
they have as well, yeah.
Maybe it comes out when RKO's Christian or something.
And Christian and Jericho have history, too.
Yeah, so maybe something like that.
Yeah, like you said, the feud is rushed, so maybe this segment will kind of add a little something to it before they have a match later on in the night.
They just rushed that feud way too fast.
They have, and I think it had potential, too, because, I don't know, maybe it might have been not 4 years ago today, but it was around this time 4 years ago that he punted him in the head, and they have mentioned that a few times, like here and there, like that wrote Jericho off TV for a while, and they should touch upon that more, maybe in like the video package, which they never do. Like another thing to kind of go back to this NXT, their video packages for TakeOver, they show the history between Bayley and Charlotte from a year ago. They acknowledge that kind of stuff. WWE doesn't acknowledge anything they did like a week ago. You know what I mean? Like a month ago. They don't acknowledge anything, but I digress. So what do you think about the pre-show? Any thoughts on it?
Just another pre-show.
Just going to add to the Jericho-Orton matchup on the show? Pretty much, that's what I thought, too. I think there's a very, very little chance, like this much of a chance. You can't really see it. RJ can see it, obviously. But very, very small chance of it actually leading to like a Christian and Jericho versus a Kane and Orton match because Jericho faced
Kane.
No,
it's official. The person I hate the most.
He's won 3 matches this year.
It's Corporate Kane and Adam Rose.
You're not Adam Rose.
I hate Adam Rose. But I hate Corporate Kane even more.
Yeah. So that's the pre-show for Night of Champions. Kicking off the show. There's really no order. We're just going down the line here. United States Championship matchup. Sheamus and Cesaro. Who do you got?
Cesaro.
I think they had this matchup at Payback, too. I think the match itself has a lot of potential to be great. And I think they have a lot of great chemistry, too. The feud has been well built. It's been solid for a mid-card feud. But I think it's time you give the belt to Cesaro.
Yeah.
I had some hope when they gave it to Sheamus, but after that, they really killed it.
They haven't done terrible booking for Sheamus.
He wasn't on TV for like a solid 3 weeks.
Exactly. So you got to give it to Cesaro. He has to get something out of this whole Under the Giant Memorial thing.
Well, were we talking about it before the show or on the show about the Memorial Battle Royal and how they completely wasted Cesaro since then? Yeah. So, I think giving him the title back on the show against Sheamus is probably the best booking decision. So, 2 for 2 here. Cesaro, new United States champion. Next up, for the WWE Tag Team titles, the Usos defending against Stardust and Goldust. Not exactly RJ's favorite team, but nevertheless, your prediction for this contest.
This is actually one of the harder ones I have to think about.
It could go either way. Like, a lot of these matches on the show could go either way.
I'm going to say Stardust and Goldust.
You think so?
Yep.
New WWE Tag Team champions? I'm going to go with the Usos here, because like we said before, I think the Ascension is going to be promoted to the main roster and go after the Usos for the tag team titles. I could definitely see Goldust and Stardust winning here, especially given how much they've lost during the course of this year. They've lost a lot of matches. So I could see that leading to a tag team title change here, putting the Usos in chase mode. But then again, I thought the Wyatt family would win at Money in the Bank, and they didn't. Or at Battleground, and they didn't.
I thought they were too, but
yeah. So
I don't know. I feel like Ascension won't get pushed right to tag team championship contending right away.
True. So maybe they switch the titles and maybe give them back to the Usos.
Or they could just have the 2 heel teams fight each other. They've had the Rhodes brothers fight Usos at the start off.
Yeah. I could see that happening. Yeah. So you got Stardust and Goldust.
Yeah. I hate them. I don't know. Something has to come out of their
this
stupid
feud
gimmick.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Goldust. I know he was supposed to be leaving soon, but I guess he signed an extension or something because he's still here after SummerSlam. I guess
I hate Stardust.
Our booked out Cody Rhodes. Our booked out feud between Cody and Goldust didn't pan out pretty well. I remember when we booked that, and after we left campus, that's when we went to Stardust. Oh my God, I hate this. Cody is so much over as himself.
So much over. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely
ridiculous. Fucked that one up, but
we can go on a rant about that for like an hour about why
he's Stardust. It's just so stupid.
It is a dumb gimmick, especially when his brother is already doing the same thing. And after Goldust leaves,
it just doesn't make any sense because he's already over. It's not like he was like Michael McGillicuddy.
Exactly. It's not like they're trying something new. Exactly. He was already over as himself when he had that great match against Orton about a year ago. Remember on Raw? Ridiculous. But you've got new tag team champions here. I got the Usos. We'll have to wait and see which one of us will be proven wrong there. Up next for the Intercontinental Championship, Dolph Ziggler defending the title against The Miz in his SummerSlam rematch. Who do you got? Ziggler? I don't think they should take the title off Ziggler this soon. I mean, it's only been a month. Well, then again, they took the title off The Miz. But they probably realized that Ziggler was a better fit for the IC title. The whole R. Ziggler and the Damian Mizdow crap.
Stupid.
It is very dumb, and I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. But that being said, I would hope that, it's probably one of the better feuds that we've gotten over the IC title in quite some time because there's an actual feud over the IC title. Granted, the focus isn't on the title, but there's a feud at least, you know what I mean? So I got Ziggler here too. Ziggler and Miz usually have good matches, so hopefully it will be a great match from Miz and Ziggler to at Night of Champions, whether it kicks off the show or not. Divas Championship up next. Paige defending the title against AJ Lee and Nikki Bella, not Brie Bella, in a triple threat contest. This is a matchup that I could see any one of these women coming out victorious. Who do you got?
AJ.
AJ? Really? I would put her third on my list of people who you think is going to win. You really got AJ? I think Nikki Bella is going to go over here to continue the feud with her and Brie. She'll get involved somehow, but I think Nikki wins the belt here. Not saying I want to see it happen. I think Paige should have a longer reign with the title. But I see Nikki going over here to continue the feud with Brie over the championship.
But why wouldn't Paige get a rematch then?
They've done that in the past. They only do rematches when it's convenient. You know what I mean? I think they should give her a rematch. I think AJ at least they could do an AJ Nikki feud. You know what I mean? I think the Paige AJ stuff, it was very good at first, but the whole lesbian teases, the problem with it is, and it's entertaining for us male viewers and stuff, but that given that it's a PG product, that they're not going to go all the way with it. So
the thing is, I could see this. You saying Nikki Bella because I feel like Paige and AJ can fight without the title.
Yeah,
they're good enough that they don't need the title to really be in the picture. But I just feel like AJ's so over right now that she deserves.
She is. Yeah, I think they never really take any consideration into the fact, and last night was a perfect example when they gave all 4 women entrances, or I guess with the exception of Paige. Brie Bella comes out, and Brie Bella, she's gotten herself over, but AJ comes out, gets 3 times the reaction that Brie does. It really goes to show how over she is, and hopefully they can build on towards a Stephanie AJ feud, which they did tease a couple of weeks ago, which I think could be great. What?
Hi, boss lady.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
They had a segment about a year ago, too, where she called her boss lady, and I think that could be a great feud. If they could make the most out of a Brie and Stephanie feud, one can only imagine how good of a feud Stephanie and AJ could have if they treated it properly. Like, I thought a Paige AJ feud could be great, but they botched it.
I think the feud's been good. The match has been good. That's all I really care about.
It could be worse, but the direction with the whole not crazy teaming one week, teaming against each other the next week is what confuses me. It could be better handled, and it could be worse. I'll say that much. But anyway, who do you got going on?
I said AJ.
AJ? So new Divas champion either way.
I don't think Nikki Bella will win. I think they'll just have Nikki Bella get screwed by Brie.
And then continue the feud, not over the championship?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
They don't need a championship. They don't need anything for that feud.
No, they don't.
Because what would be the significance if they fought and Brie Bella won the championship?
It wouldn't, because the title wasn't.
Because then who would she fight then? No one, because no one cares.
Cameron?
Exactly. Speaking of Cameron, I feel like if they keep like these lower end Diva feuds going far, they could have a decent tag team match at Survivor Series. They keep it going.
Well, for the Divas?
Just the Divas, Team AJ against Team Paige, and they could have Brie Bella.
Yeah.
On AJ, they could have Naomi, maybe Bayley. Bring up some extra.
Bayley,
I think they should they think pre-show and first match they should bring up NXT matches more.
I like
that. Just
showcase NXT on
exactly.
Raw. I thought they were gonna do that last night. No such luck, and they called in Sami Zayn, Neville, and Breeze to work the next couple of tapings, Raw and SmackDown. So maybe it's dark matches. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, either way, I really want to see more of that. But what were we getting here? Oh, the Survivor Series thing.
Yeah, they could definitely do that with the divas they have right now. Natalya, be on, like Summer Rae and her.
Yeah, exactly.
They have enough little small enough feuds that they could make a decent match for Survivor Series.
They just can't do lazy booking. That's all. I mean, the lazy booking in that the Total Divas versus True Divas. That was so
AJ's
dumb.
not. I wish AJ was on Total Divas, but. Yeah.
Really? Imagine if AJ ended up accepting the invitation, because I know she was offered a spot on that show, but she turned it down, and that's where the whole pipe bombshell came from about a year ago. But imagine if she was still on it, or she was on it from day one, okay? And this whole thing with CM Punk went down, and he was on like John Cena's on the show all the time.
They probably wouldn't show him though.
What, you think if AJ was on the show, they wouldn't acknowledge their relationship? Really? You think so?
Too much.
CM Punk's that kind of person. I don't think he would want him to be on the show anyway.
Too many bad terms. They would not want him on the show.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is that with AJ, if she started off the show like last summer.
If they start off, I think they would acknowledge that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
If she started joining now, no chance in hell they'd do that.
No, they wouldn't acknowledge it now. But I'm saying, like, if she was there from the start, like from season 1, and this whole
How
thing
long
with
have they
Punk,
been dating for anyways? They got married, but...
Yeah, they got married in June. They really weren't dating for much longer. Because when I heard the rumor that AJ and Punk were going out...
She was, making out with Cena and Kane and Daniel Bryan
exactly.
still.
And CM Punk, I thought, was still with Lita, because I know they were a couple at one point, too. I think it's been about a year. I want to say it's been about since October or November.
Smarter than him, though. Put it really on that.
yeah.
But,
he's living the
I don't know. I
life
feel
of
like that's
retirement.
just so weird, though. Like, she was, making out with Daniel Bryan. He's still dating Brie Bella, but...
Yeah.
I guess it's business, I guess. I don't know.
It's business. It's whatever's best for business.
So, I guess.
Exactly.
So, AJ, I got AJ. So.
You got AJ. I got Nikki Bella. Either way, new Divas champion being crowned for our predictions anyway. Up next, RJ's favorite match on the show, Rusev versus Mark Henry. Who you got going over here?
Rusev.
Rusev, yeah. I don't think... That was another reason why I think they could have main evented Raw, is if they wanted to snap the streak of Rusev. But to Mark Henry, it really makes no sense. So Rusev goes over here after what should be a dud of a matchup.
Yeah.
So I got Rusev there. Up next, Jericho versus Randy Orton. Your thoughts?
Rushed feud. I've been saying it all night. Rushed feud.
Jericho's on his way out, too, for what it's worth.
So, I'd say Orton.
Orton? Yeah, I think it's easy.
I feel like the match, there's no real winner because Jericho's leaving and then Orton just fighting a bad feud because there's no other babyface for him to wrestle right now.
Yeah. He hasn't won a pay-per-view match since what? Elimination Chamber? Because he lost to Mania. He lost the title at Mania, lost to the Shield at Extreme Rules, lost to the Shield again at Payback, lost the title match, Money in the Bank, lost the title match at Battleground, lost to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. So, they definitely have to fix him with a win here.
I just feel like he's another guy that's kind of just treading water right now.
Yeah.
He's another heel treading water because they have no faces. That's another thing. They have no faces.
That's exactly. I don't think it's not like, oh, Orton's stale, let's turn him babyface. It's not it at all because I think he works better as a heel.
But there's just nothing for him to do.
He just needs a solid. He just needs a solid babyface.
Like they kind of rushed him and Roman Reigns a lot too.
Wait, Orton and Reigns? That feud? They did. I think they could have naturally built up. It was there. The build was there between Triple H and Roman Reigns. And then they went with Orton and Reigns instead. And now it doesn't even look like they're doing Triple H and Roman at all. They might at Survivor Series. You never know. I hope they do. But I'm glad they're not giving it away on this show because that would have been too soon.
They're to give away Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, I'm pissed about. But
yeah, we've got to talk about that. We'll get to that in a minute. But who do you got going over here, Jericho or Orton? Orton, I got Orton as well. Up next, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Match will be just off for free on Raw. Clean finish. Roman Reigns goes over. What's the point of having this match now on pay-per-view? Either way, what's your prediction?
Reigns. There's no reason for Rollins to win.
I honestly don't get it. Unless
he loses, unless Kane gets involved, there's no chance. It has to be involved. Reigns will never lose clean.
Nope.
And I just don't get the booking at all.
No.
If anything, have him win dirty on Monday Night Raw, then beat him clean on... This is stupid. If anything, even if they're going to repeat it, if Kane came out and beat on Monday, maybe Reigns gets over on Kane at Night of Champions and beats him. But the clean booking just made no sense at all.
And it was a good matchup, too. It was a first ever matchup between two... This is the thing, too. This should have been hyped up more than it was. It wasn't even like it was hyped out a week out, and then they delivered it. They just gave it away for free on Raw with very little hype. It's a match between two former members of one of the biggest factions in the last 10 years, and they gave it away for free on Raw with a clean finish. What kind of booking is that? There's really no upside to that whatsoever. Now, the matchup in Night of Champions should be good, but like I said before, there's really no reason to care. And I also have Roman Reigns going over here, whether it be clean, dirty, whatever. I don't know if Ambrose gets involved, and that sets up that. He'll probably come back on Raw on Monday to set up, the return for Monday. I don't see them giving away the finish here or giving away the return of Dean Ambrose here. But you've got Roman Reigns. I've got Roman Reigns as well. Time for the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena 3 with the title on the line. What are your thoughts?
Should just feel it'll be more like their Extreme Rules match. Obviously, it won't be like the SummerSlam. It'll be more back and forth. But I have Lesnar winning.
I'm surprised they didn't make it a no DQ match.
They should have, but
they should have. Maybe they've done that in the past. They've added a no DQ stipulation to big matches on the pre-show before, so they could do that on Sunday. But we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I'm intrigued and to see how they handle it. Because like you said before, it's not going to be a squash match. It can't be the same matchup we saw at SummerSlam, which I thought was very refreshing. But it has to be more of a wrestling matchup in order to engage viewers and give Cena fans a reason to believe that he could win here.
Could you see them maybe ending it not even in a finish? Maybe Cena they still an injury angle?
Yes.
And that maybe Lesnar just kicks his ass so bad again that he just injures him and it's done?
Interesting that you mentioned that. I thought you were going to say that Cena gets the better of Lesnar but gets himself DQ'd or something, because I've heard some people say that and build into a Hell in a Cell match. But like I said before, I really don't want to see another matchup between these two at Hell in a Cell. I want to see this feud end here, because I think they built it up right after Battleground, going into Night of Champions.
They don't need any more Cena and Lesnar.
They've really milked it out as much as they possibly could. I don't know.
As long as they milked up the Bray Wyatt and Cena.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, oh, please don't do it again at Payback, and they did it again at Payback. So, and it's not even like they need a third rubber match. This is the rubber match. I mean, not counting the matches from 03, 04. Or I think it was Backlash 03. But we had John Cena go over at Extreme Rules, which they acknowledged on TV.
Which is so stupid, but we're not going to get on that. It's another rant for another day.
2 years later still makes no sense. Brock Lesnar goes over at SummerSlam. Essentially, this is the tiebreaker. This is the rubber match.
But the thing is, the first two matches pretty much were squash matches for Lesnar. The first match, Extreme Rules, Cena only got 2 moves in.
Exactly.
Hit him with the chain, FU, wins the match.
Yep.
So both matches were squash matches. So I'm intrigued to see how they build this match.
Exactly.
Because Cena's looked so poor in this feud. He beat him at Extreme Rules, which should have happened. Got his ass kicked at SummerSlam, which he should have happened. Should have ended at Extreme Rules.
That should have happened at Extreme Rules.
So exactly. They're gonna have Cena more back and forth. I don't know. They can't really sell that because he's got his ass kicked twice already. So.
Exactly, and it would make Lesnar. I don't want to say make him look weak, but to have Cena kick Lesnar's ass on the show would make him seem not as dominant. You know what I mean? So it's really a lose-lose situation. But either way, I'm also intrigued to see how they handle this. But you've got Brock Lesnar. I've got Brock Lesnar as well. The only thing that makes sense with Seth Rollins is that if Seth Rollins lose on Monday, lose in Night of Champions, Cena wins here. They have Seth Rollins cash in, do that feud over the title going into the fall, which I do not want to see. I mean, Cena and Rollins would have a good feud, but I think it's way, way too early to take the title off of Brock Lesnar.
It's way too early for Lesnar, but the only way I could see that is if you just you got to really pony up some big money for me to keep coming back.
Exactly. I think he can't leave. I mean, if he leaves after WrestleMania, I think the thing is that after he finally loses, what left is there for him to do?
Nothing.
So he can't come back. If he loses his matchup, he's not going to come back. He shouldn't come back. So, and then he won't work WrestleMania, so it won't make sense. So he needs to win here. Hopefully WWE knows that.
The only way they'd let him leave now if he was fighting Rock or someone.
Yeah, WrestleMania. And that match should not be over the title. If it had to happen, it should not happen over the title. It wouldn't make any sense.
And hopefully it's not Cena again.
What, Cena what?
Cena Lesnar again at WrestleMania.
Oh, God, no. Absolutely no. Give us something new for once. Hopefully it's... I would like to see Cena Daniel Bryan again at WrestleMania, to be honest with you. Rematch from SummerSlam last year. I think
that doesn't even need a title.
That does not need a title. No, do the rematch.
Supposedly he's coming back soon, so...
Yeah, they said they said November. I don't put much stock in that, but...
They said earlier than that. They said that WWE wants him back for Survivor Series, and they said he might be back earlier than that.
I would love to see it, as long as he's back 100%. But he'll definitely be back.
The money. He's going to lose his house. Call Brie Bella out.
Yeah,
He got borrowed money from Cena.
Brie Bella
That
quit.
is so ridiculously fake.
Brie Bella...
But they didn't even buy that... the thing is, they have so much money, they didn't even, in the show, they didn't buy, the nicest over-the-top house. We have a budget. You're making so much money. What do you mean you have a budget? It's all for show. It's all for show.
It is all for show, but even that makes no sense. She's like, I want a new floor, want new housing, want new
just get a new house at that point.
Exactly. And then she goes,
the show.
At the end of the show, she's like, oh, we're on a tight budget because if Daniel Bryan isn't on the road, we're not making any money. what is this 1995 or something?
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
not like his
makes no
contract.
sense.
Exactly, it's not like his contract. He just doesn't get paid because he's not working.
Exactly. This is not the Indies, Brie Bella.
Exactly.
This is WWE.
And she gets paid probably a decent amount of money as is. And she has
exactly.
They like throughout the show they do other things too. It's not like she's just there. She's a model. She models. They would have been on shows and stuff.
Exactly.
There's
They're
so
not
many
living in a
appearances.
box.
They don't just show up for the appearance. Just no money. They get paid to go to these things. They're just stupid. It's just TV. But I love the show. So
yeah, I'll still watch anyway. Despite how
can't
much
wait.
people
Some reason we
complain,
got our ass kicked this weekend.
Yeah, I know that they showed that clip.
Are they gonna have it still this weekend?
What, Total Divas?
Yeah.
Yep. They still air it during pay-per-views. It just doesn't do a big buy rate because all the wrestling fans, which
They gotta have
still
two
have a majority of.
TVs.
What?
They gotta have 2 TVs in my room.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Both.
exactly. Watch them both.
Exactly.
Yeah, Cena Lesnar is going on. You gotta watch Total Divas, and it's Summer Rae versus Natalya is gonna be happening on one screen.
Exactly.
Cena versus Lesnar on the other one. So, either way, I'm looking forward to it. It
Yep.
should be an interesting episode for both Night of Champions
Yep.
and Night of Champions at SummerSlam. Night of Champions on Sunday.
Yep.
So that's going to do it. I'm looking forward to Sunday night. Like I said before, should be a great show. Keyword is if they book it correctly. I don't have much hope. I don't have much faith that they will.
No.
It's WWE. I mean, I said the same thing last year, and that show was atrocious. Night of Champions 2013. So hopefully they can learn from their past mistakes and deliver a good show. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of WrestleRant Radio, talking Raw, NXT, Night of Champions, and everything else in between. Any other thoughts before we go off the show? RJ, before we get to the plugs and stuff. Any other thoughts? Nothing? That's it?
That's it.
Okay, that's going to do it for this week's episode, folks. I'll get to your cheap plugs in just 1 second. Actually, we'll give you cheap plugs right now. Go right ahead. And shout-outs because...
I know, Jeff's not here, so I have to do all the shout-outs today. So I got Molly, Jeff Stone, Cam Burns, Sus, Jamie, Shannon, everyone else. If you're listening, I got you. On the Twitter, at Raymond_Marceau. On YouTube, Ray Marceau. I got some videos on there. So,
and your blog as well, too, right?
I got my blog on my Twitter, so I got that, too. And at WrestleRant.
At WrestleRant, you got it. You can tweet me and follow me at that link. You can listen to WrestleRant Radio every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 Central Time at live365.com/stations/ECTV73. And also, you can listen to full episodes of the show on the website, nextairwrestling.weebly.com, at the official archive. Every episode for the last year is up there. Check me out on Facebook as well, YouTube, same thing, and that's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for listening live. We will be back next week with a Night of Champions review and much more. It's going to be a big week for the WWE. Night of Champions Raw, shaping up to be a very interesting time for the WWE and the world of wrestling as a whole. So, once again, folks, thanks for listening live, and we'll see you next week.